So, you're back to hear more about the toy factory.
Listen.
Looks like Jared's gonna be diving deeper into the factory this time. I'm sure it can't get worse than what he's faced before. A machine filled with teeth trying to eat him. It can't get worse than that, right? Jared looked around. He'd opened the case, or that's what it felt like he had done, but he didn't see anything there. He walked back down the hallway. It seemed different in a way. As he reached the central room, he noticed the path he had came down was blocked, but a new door was open. As the creak of the door swung open, singing that scary sound, he stepped forward into the long, illuminated hallway. It reminded him of the one in which he first saw Huggy Wuggy's arm wrapped out the door.
This way.
He heard a voice. He wasn't sure where it was from. Hello? Is somebody talking to me? He tried the bright red door before him, but the lock held the door's secret shut. He noticed the floor was broken, pushed in, cracked. It was a large gap. He thought about turning back, but he noticed a handle above it. Perhaps he could use the grab pack to swing across. He had no effort in doing so. He continued, the toys and the blood not bothering him anymore. He knew some of the secrets this factory held now, and the blood of these toys did not scare him anymore. This path seemed to be blocked as well, boarded up, metal gate was shut closed. Though he noticed a door behind some barrels. Using the blue hand, he pulled the barrels to the side, accessing the silver door. But one thing caught his eye, a large key at the back of the room. He quickly picked it up. He looked around, thinking he heard something. It sounded like a voice, but maybe it was just in his head. He continued back on the path, practicing swinging the grab jump pack again. He looked back down that long hallway. He tried the key on the large red door. Turning the twist of it unlocked this room of secrets. It opened to an office with old wallpaper and what looked like children's drawings on them. It was unusual. He noticed an open vent as well. Here he found a brown cassette tape on the desk. Under it was a handwritten note, but the scribbled writing was too hard to read. There was also a particular gold statue, which he packed into his bag. Perhaps it would have some value. He spotted the VCR player and pushed the tape in. He picked up some important notes from it.
Playtime Co. is the product of a great man by the name of Elliot Ludwig. Divorced, but a family man at heart. His sights were always set on bringing amazing toys to amazing children around the globe. Ludwig spent countless hours in the factory in an attempt to continuously innovate and surprise. Family death continued to fulfill his vision for the Playtime Co. toy factory. A tragic loss. Fateful year
Jared
of
wondered what that year was. He noticed there was some sort of bigger vent at the room that was partially pulled off. Pulled with his hand, pulled off quite easy. He went down the hallway, illuminated with red lights. The glowing feeling of that deathly chase haunted him. It opened to a room. The stale smell of concrete. That's when it happened. A shaking box fell from the pipe and revealed the doll which was in the case. It started to speak to him. Jared's mind couldn't comprehend what was happening. Was it helpful? How is this possible? It was trying to turn on power. Jared sat back and thought about what to do. But he decided getting the power on was the best way to get out of here. Whether this thing's intent was good or bad, he needed to continue. Jared wondered why the doll had been locked in that case for so long. calls enticing him.
I wanted to thank you for freeing me. I was stuck in there for so long. Thank you. I'd like to pay you back. There's a train station nearby. It needs a code, and I have it. We're gonna get out of here. As soon as you get on up here. Come on.
Although it seemed that it was
Well, I'm still a doll.
intended to help him, offering a way out. As he stepped up the vent, he shook his head, unsure if the choice he had made to come here was right. The voice startled him
I'm
again,
up here.
and the way the doll spoke was
See you.
somewhat intimidating.
I should be able to follow you
Jared
through the
left the
vents.
office.
This way.
This time he took the path that was originally on his left as he entered this area. It was blocked by a blue and red hand scanner, which he had no problem using. He watched the metal gate roll up. In front of him, another hallway. Noticed that it was different though. Before him, a large, deep crevasse into nothingness. He swung across, happy that he made it. He could hear the dolls singing in the vent, and it made him uneasy, his stomach twist and turning. There seemed to be only one path forward though, the doors on either side locked. As the door creaked open, there was a large hole in the room, the doll standing in front of it. It was off. Something about this made Jared's stomach twist and twirl. But then the doll spoke.
Listen, I'm going to need you to trust me.
What the hell? Jared's heart was thumping in his chest. Like a judge's gavel, the hammer of his heart was smashing down on it. It was beating so loud, this doll was ripped down this dark hole by something long and pink. He looked around the room for a different exit, but there wasn't one. He swallowed that fear as that thumping grew. He closed his eyes and jumped down them. His thumping heart only grew faster as he slid down the tube. And sudden blue rings of light appeared before he was shot out the bottom. He slammed on his knees, putting the grab pack hands out to catch himself. As he stood up, he saw there were many names behind him. He knew he had come from Ludwig's office. He wondered which tunnel was missing, whose name was ripped off the wall. He was in a new area, and the gate in front of him looked like it could be operated by getting power to it again. As he walked into the power room, he noticed that it was a simple design. All he had to do was pull his grab pack hands around the poles and start it again. The lifting gates were no trouble for him. Jared had encountered this kind of security measure on the power systems while he was working here. And with that, the gate to the game station was open. The rattling rolling of the gate spinning up made him panic a bit. And that panic didn't get better as he walked into the long hallway. At the end, only a red hand scanner was sitting above this gate. Jared was panicking inside as the red hand was ripped off of him. His heart was beating fast, but he tried to listen.
Isn't this exciting, Poppy? Very exciting, Mommy. Mommy heard that Miss Poppy was going to just give you the train code to escape. Now, how is that fun? Instead, why don't we make a game out of it? The game station is still working. It will be just like old times. And if you win all 3 games, I'll give you the train code. Mommy loves that idea, Puppy. Oh, you're going to have so much fun. Head to musical memory, and Mommy will get things started. Obey the rules, or I'll tear you apart and eat your insides while you're still alive.
Jared was struck with fear. His heart seemingly was jammed up in his throat. What had he just encountered? What was that monster? He only had one hand to the grab bag now. He was lucky the gate opened. He didn't know if he should meet its request to play these games, but he had no choice. The trade code was seemingly the only way out. He would have to proceed forward, no matter how hard his beating heart filled him with fear. It would pump more fright into his veins. That didn't help as the game station door opened. He walked in. The eerie and ominous feeling of death surrounded him. Something about this place was off. He had been to the game station before while he was a guard, but it was so empty. He remembers the kids playing around here, but it was now vacant, abandoned, derelict. He had no choice but to proceed forward, though. The ghostly laughs of children in his head, he tried to shake it away as he walked to the center of the room. He looked at the 3 entrances that are currently closed. He had never been in them, but he had seen the children flock to these games. As he stepped onto the stage, the train behind him, he pulled the one red lever. He could hear the voice of Stella.
Hi, kids.
He had met her before, shook her hand.
I'm Stella, and we've got 3
She was a nice
super-duper fun
woman.
games to play.
He wondered what
These
happened
little
to her.
tests show us just how crazy strong and smart you are. Follow Mommy Longlegs down the stairs, and we'll start by playing musical memory. See you in a bit.
Jared walked back down the stairs to the center of the room, the lights illuminating Bunzo the Bunny and musical memory. This is something Jared had never done before, but he didn't have a choice. Well, Jared seems to be doing fine. There's only another animatronic trying to kill him. In fact, it said it would, I believe, eat his insides while he was alive. Anyway, I'm sure he'll be okay, right? Thanks for coming to watch the first episode of Chapter 2, Poppy Playtime, or the 3rd episode overall as we continue the story of Jared. Make sure if you enjoyed it, you drop us a like and subscribe to the channel. Come join the Alagoragaming community of fun and stories. More importantly than anything though, thank you for watching.